back to my channel. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Is Kamala Harris black? That's right. Is Kamala Harris black? Man, that ain't her name. Kamala Harris. Is she black? It sounded more black if I say it that way, right? Camilla. Is Kamala Harris black? Well, that's what she says she is. That's what she told the so-called black people for all these years. Well, since she wanted to run for office. And let's find out. Let's find out if she's black. And let's find out what this all means. But first, let me say, I've been getting a lot of requests from people wanting me to do other videos about different subjects, because I did different subjects outside of sports, because, you know, we do a lot of basketball on this channel, but we all know the NBA is a dying product, and people are sick of hearing the same stuff over and over and over again. It's like a broken record. It's like listen to the radio. We keep hearing the same stuff, whether it's the debate, whether it's ex-players, present players saying the same stuff about this GOAT debate in different topics on the GOAT debate in past eras. We already told you the NBA is the worst professional sports in professional sports. They actually diss their past players to hype up this era of players. And it can't stand on nothing because the ratings, like I told you, it hasn't proved nothing. It's proven that it's the worst era of all time. Nobody cares about this trash. So they keep saying the same stuff, and I just keep seeing YouTubers who do sports. They keep saying the same stuff, and it's just like you're going around in a circle. There's nothing new to bring you as far as the NBA in this GOAT debate. It's pretty much weak. It's stale. It's over. There's nothing to talk about. So I've been having people ask me to do different topics, you know, because we can do that here. And I can do that. So in this video and in the next videos, you guys just send me or leave a comment and tell me what you want me to talk about. And we'll see what we can do as far as talking about other stuff. Now, I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to talk about any and everything, but we can talk about other stuff if, you know, it's suitable to talk about. And you know me, I can do a range of stuff. A lot of these guys, you know, they're out here to make money, so they don't want to piss nobody off, and, you know, they don't want to, well, let's just say they don't want to tell the truth, so they don't want to make anybody mad because they don't want to lose their money. So let's get to Kamala Harris right here. She says she's black. She never stated really what she was when she was referring to black, right? Because she claims she's Jamaican. She claims her people are we would say Jamaican black, right? That's what she claims. But she don't call them black, right? She just calls them Jamaican. And then she claims her other side is Indian. Okay. So of late, I would say maybe since the 1800s, we've been going by maybe colors, you know, crayons, to address who we are as people. We've been going by nations and things like that to address who we are, even though we don't know what, you know, we call ourselves American, we call ourselves Haitian, we call ourselves Dominican. We have no idea where that name came from. So we're identifying ourselves with something that we don't even know the etymology of where it came from, right? We'll say, oh, we're Puerto Rican. We don't know what the hell that means. When we go look it up in the etymology and see where it originated from, we're shocked. Like, whoa, how am I that? How am I that? Well, because these people told you that's who you are. But realistically, if you know history, which all of us should, and, you know, the people that teach us, and, you know, our politicians and all these people, our scientists and these are supposed to be the smartest people in the world. But throughout history, what you were part of a family, right? It don't matter if you came from Europe in that way, or you were a part of indigenous people in this world. You came from a family, right? So You might have came from the Smith family. So there's a Smith family crest. You might have came from a, let's say in her instance, a Harris family. So there's a Harris family crest. There might be a Davis family crest. There might be a Reyes family crest. And then back in those days, you were a part of that family. Everybody knew what that Reyes family did, that Smith family did. They did a certain thing in their family. And I'm not talking about a family of 10. I'm not talking about a family of 20. We're talking about a family of hundreds of people. That's what it was. And you were part of that family crest. If you go look it up and look up surnames and go to your surname, your family crest will come up, right? And it'll tell you where that name originated from, what those people did, right? Where they spread out all over, the world, whether they came to the Americas, whether they didn't, they went to the Caribbean, what have you. Nobody was known as a color. No one was known as a damn nation before recent times, before a couple centuries ago. It's all made up and fake. If you came from indigenous people, that's what you roll with. You were a part of that tribe. Blackfoot, Choctaw, Creek, the Zulu Nation. There were indigenous people all around the damn world. From the Americas to Australia to the people in Oceania, Hawaii, Africa, all over the world. They didn't have first names and last names. They were a part of a tribe, and the tribe was, it could be hundreds of thousands of people deep, right? So you were a Choctaw, you were a Blackfoot, you were this and that, blah, blah, blah. That's how people address themselves in the indigenous people. They didn't have first names and last names. They would just name you off of like nicknames, right? If you notice how a lot of people of color, if you are, this is like a tradition. You grow up and somebody's calling you a nickname off of maybe something you do all the time or the way you act. You know what I'm saying? We used to have cousins called boogers. What? Booger? Because they used to pick their nose all the time. So, or you would call like your cousin man, because when he was little, he looked like a grown ass man. So that's how indigenous people got their name, off of nicknames. They didn't have first names. They didn't have last names. They went by tribal names and nicknames. That's how it worked. So we got this woman calling herself the color black. So let's look at it. It's an adjective. We go to the dictionary because that's the only way to figure out what the hell somebody is talking about when they say words. What it means, the definition. It's an adjective. Black. Can you really look at your skin and say you're black? Can any so-called African American put a phone up to them that's black, or their shoe to their skin, and say that's their color? I'm talking about a full-blooded so-called black American. Can they do that? So you think Kamala Harris can do that, right? She says she's black. So let's look at the definition right here. And we're in the dictionary. We're just going to go to the dictionary online. We don't want to go to nothing old. I mean, we should, but the dummies will start crying. Oh man, that's just old words, man. Stuff doesn't change. You can hear it now. That's what they're going to say. So let's go to this one. The latest. Relating or belonging to any of the various human populations characterized by dark skin pigmentation, especially the dark-skinned people of Africa, Oceania, and Australia. Relating or belonging to. Belonging to and relating. So the color black belongs to these people? What is that? They bought it? What do you mean? They took it? It belongs to them. What? Relating. Okay. Let's read further. Relating to or noting the descendants of these populations without regard for the lightness or darkness of skin tone. Wow. I'll let you figure that out. And then C. So it relates to these people regardless of skin tone. So you could be in these places that they're talking about. It don't matter what kind of skin tone you got. They're saying you're black. So you could have pale skin, right? You could have pale skin. So when we click on right here, it says C, it says African American, but it says nothing next to it. It just says African American. And then we click on African American, and it says in American with black African ancestry. Not African ancestry, black. How come it's just not African? Okay, black African ancestry. So if you don't, if you have never found any ancestries physically, a physical person in Africa in your family, I'm not talking about through some swab in the mouth. I'm talking about physical ancestry or through genealogy. You can't be related to these people. Can't be related to these people. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's go back to this black word. And it keeps going down. It says the same thing. A member of any of the various dark-skinned peoples, especially those of Africa, Oceania, and Australia. So they're saying that Australians were black. That's what they're saying. They weren't mixed. They were black. How about the Oceania people? Those Hawaiians and all those islands by Hawaii. They're saying all these people were black. That's what they're saying. Because I see a whole bunch of white people and Asians parading around today, and for a hot minute, claiming they're Polynesian. Huh? Okay. And it keeps going. And we go down to, they say it's an adjective. Being a color that lacks hue and brightness and absorbs light without reflecting any of the rays composing of it. Woof. Oh, that's black. Synonyms, right? Synonyms: ebony, stable, inky, dusky, dark. Wow. More synonyms: dingy, dirty, gloomy, dismissive, doleful, funeral, somber, depressing, sad. Wow. What we got here? Threatening, disastrous. Wow. Evil, wicked, villainous, horrible, monstrous, sinful, inhuman, devilish. Wow. So this is what people are calling themselves when they call themselves the color black. Because we already know no indigenous people were calling themselves the color black. Let me see here real quick. No indigenous people was calling themselves the color black. Nowhere in this world. And let's be clear here. When they first start calling people the color black, it was a word of hate. 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 It wasn't a color of power, happiness, and nothing like that. It was out of hate through racism that they start calling people the color black. And you see what it means. You see what these people were calling people of brown skin. When I just read those synonyms, they were calling them hate words. All those synonyms that I just read that refers to the color black, that's what they were calling people of color, right? They wasn't calling you this for you to be proudful of your heritage, of you, of your people. You got to remember who start saying these things. These so-called black leaders, they start coming out with this stuff. Black power. Black is beautiful. Black pride. What? So I just read all the synonyms to black, and you're being prideful in that? Sounds like a trick to me. Sounds like a trick to me. So again, there's no roots past 1800s that people was calling themselves black, Negro, colored, none of this, African American, none of this stuff. Not even African, not American, not European, not Canadian, none of that stuff. Your surname was part of your family crest that everybody knew you by. Again, everybody in that town knew who the Smiths were, what they did, everything. What their legacy was, what kind of business they did. They made shoes, they made irons, they made brooms, whatever. Everybody knew what the Smith family did. You was addressed by your surname. And again, for indigenous people, they had no surnames. You were a part of a so-called tribe, which was a nation. And your so-called name was your nickname. So why is this lady calling herself black? Does she look black? Does her mama look black? Does her daddy look black? As a black woman, has she ever, not her as a black woman, I'm just saying as a black woman, does she have a black mother or a full-blooded black father? She ain't even got one of them. She ain't even got a full-blooded black father or a black mother, but she calling herself black. In the father, right? Since this system goes by patriarchal, indigenous people didn't do that. This system goes by patriarchal, right? So essentially, since her grandfather was white, she's white. She wouldn't be black. So has she ever, as a so-called black woman that she claiming, for the black women who are black women, what black anything that she had to go through as a black woman? Anything. Did she have to wake up and look in the mirror and she was a black woman? Did she have to go to her mother and her mother was a black woman? Did she have to go to her father and her father was a full black-blooded black father? Did she go through anything that black people go through or black women go through? Well, black women, that's for you to decide. But we do know this is the same person that put black children, in a lot of them, behind bars. Black children of black mothers. She did that, right? Can you explain anything that she did for black women or black people since she's been in office? So she's Jamaican. She's Jamaican. So how come she hasn't been claiming Jamaican people? She said her people come from Jamaica in India. How come she hasn't been claiming the Jamaican community? She's Indian Jamaican. She has no roots to the so-called African American people over here that went through Jim Crow, that went through the stuff in the 60s with Martin Luther, went through all this stuff. Through the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s. She has no roots of any of the African American history or culture over here. She don't. And that's why she says black. So she can identify with all people of color. But in fact, she has no roots or no ancestry to these people. Like I said, she supposedly has Jamaican roots, but that has been disputed if you look it up. They say that's a fib. She doesn't have a black, no, a white grandfather and a so-called slave grandmother. It says that she done made errors on her ancestry, and it's not true. And we don't see, how come she hasn't went back and embraced her Jamaican people? When you have money like that, it's not hard. Because she can't embrace no so-called African American people, right? She has no connection to these people. She's not these people, right? She wants to make it seem like everybody is one. I bet no Haitian can go to Jamaica right now and they say, because of my skin color, I'm Jamaican. Them Jamaicans will laugh that Haitian all the way the hell up out of Jamaica, right? Unless he's got people there to prove that's what he is. No Venezuelan can run up in Mexico and tell those Mexican people, hey, I'm Mexican. They will laugh that damn Venezuelan the hell up out of there if you can't prove it. And how do you prove it? Through ancestry, through culture, right? Through that. No African American can go to Jamaica and say, hey, man, I'm Jamaican. They will laugh him the hell up out of Jamaica because this is about culture. Puerto Ricans don't claim to be Dominicans. Dominicans don't claim to be Brazilian. They got different cultures. You might speak the same, but it's different cultures. Certain things happen in certain countries that form that culture. But for African Americans, what they do is they want them to be, no, they want them to be everybody, right? They want them to be everyone, and they want everyone to accept them, like Kamala Harris, through the color black. Go read the synonyms. I bet she ain't down with that. I bet if you call her those synonyms, she'd be ready to smack you in the face. She'll be offended. So that's what she's saying to brown-skinned people, who they really are, when she calls somebody black. There's no such damn thing. There's no people who are the color white. Get that piece of paper and go around these so-called white people. And if you find some white people or some so-called white people that's that color, you better run. Because they're going to be sick. Something's wrong with them. Nobody is the color white. It's a made-up construct. Right? These are legal terms. That's all they are. I'm proud to be Puerto Rican. Well, go look the word up. I bet you won't. You're going to look stupid. These are the names that the conquerors made up for these places. The people that do wrong, the overseers, the enslavers, these are the names they made up for these places. Not you. So again, I'm just not looking at a black woman. I don't care what you guys say that she's supposed to be doing in office. She ain't doing nothing for black, so-called black Americans, right? She ain't doing nothing for these people. Nothing. She can't. She had all that time on that podium against Trump. And again, all Trump had to do was shut his mouth and just answer a couple questions because they had nothing to stand on for destroying the economy for these 4 years. Nothing. But instead, Donald Trump, instead of just answering questions and being cordial, had to be a damn character. Had to act a fool. So yeah, she had all this time as a black woman, as a black woman, to say what she was going to do for so-called black people. She said nothing. She said nothing. And what they try to do is to mixed race people, biracial people, They try to, especially this comes from like the system. If you got shade on your skin, you black. You black. Don't matter if you got if you got a white mother and they tell you they say you are what your father is. So you're trying to tell me a woman who is black that has a child by a white man, she's black, and has a baby by that white man, her daughter is white? These people is insane. It's another construct. That's all it is. You're not black. You're not white. So called. You're both. You're both. You can't run from either. They're trying to tell you because of a patriarchal system that, if you got a white mom and a black dad, you're just black. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It makes no sense. And this is a construct. You're both. You had a woman carry you around for 9 damn months, and you're saying you're not of her people? That makes no sense. And they do this in other countries where the country is mixed up, and Spanish countries and Arab countries, and they do the same thing with this colorism thing. They do the same damn thing. The lighter skinned people, like in the Spanish countries, they think, if they claim they're Spanish side from Spain, they're closer to the conquerors. And the darker people they're mixed with Spanish too, from the people from Spain and so-called Africans, but they got to claim the Africans according to the government. So, you're not closer to the conquerors. You're closer to the people who got conquered. I mean, this stuff is so ridiculous. And that's the colorism they play. So this is what it is. We're still waiting for Kamala Harris to embrace her Jamaican roots. She has no roots to the so-called black people in the United States. Zero, none, zilch. And she probably don't have any roots to Jamaica. Not only because of what I read, she kind of like fabricated it, and it's not true. Or they say she, did some missteps in her ancestry. So it's still on the table. What do you mean? So you're telling me your father don't know who the hell his father is and his mother is? These people playing games. It's the same thing with Obama. Same thing with Obama. It's no surprise he's looking Indonesian, and his mama was pregnant in Indonesia. His other siblings are Indonesian, but he was born in damn Hawaii. Go to Indonesia, pull up Indonesian people, and they look just like Obama. And they were questioning this guy's birth certificate. It's the same old stuff. These people claiming to be people who they ain't. Right? Claiming to be so-called African Americans. That's what they're claiming. That's what they're claiming. They're not. Look, there will never, ever, ever, never be a black president. A black woman president or a black man president. Obama is black and white. And probably Indonesian. And Kamala Harris, whatever the hell she is, she's not black. They give so-called African Americans these things so they'll feel good, like they're a part of something. If it don't look like your mama or your daddy, who is black, they ain't black. They black and white. And they're fooling you. And they will come in office and give you nothing. And what will happen? You will just get a feel-good story because you'll feel good like they got some black people in office. And they won't do a damn thing for you, and you'll still feel good. It's a feel-good story. Obama did nothing for you. You excuse that. Oh, so we still got a first black president. They doing for everybody else. All this money, all these houses, all this stuff they're giving everybody else, but they're giving you nothing. right? But gentrification and people coming taking jobs from you, taking your neighborhoods from you, they ain't gonna give you nothing but the word black. That's it. That's what you like. That's what you like. A feel good story. Like we done made it because you're too lazy to see who these people really are. And they don't have to tell you who they are because it's out there in the public. You're too lazy. This is the information age. Nobody feels sorry for you being lazy. Too lazy to find out you can't even vote. You got a popular vote, an electoral vote, and guess what? Guess what vote counts? Well, the citizens get the popular vote. Well, the Congress and the Senate and the who of who of the wealthy get the electoral vote. So if you're a citizen, you get the popular vote, right? Only the electoral vote votes the next president into office, right? The dummies are dummies. This is the law. This is the law. And it's the law in every damn country. You don't know the law. So again, her mother ain't black. That's what I'm saying. She can't even go to a solid black mother or a solid black mother and she claiming she black. I don't care what she is. It don't matter. This is not about being racist, being racial. It's just other people, like always, claiming that they're part of the African American race in the United States. They're not. We already talked about this. All this nonsense, Negro, black, white, African, all these names came about in the 1800s when when everybody started coming over here, right? So you could no longer be Irish, Italian, Spanish, wherever you came from. They didn't want that no more. So you had to go by these new names now, right? You either had to be black, white, Asian, something like this. So that's what a real slave is.